Hi guys, today we're going to be making this space scene in Blender, and it's a lot easier than you think, so let's jump straight into it. I'm going to start off by hitting X to delete this cube, and then I'm going to press Shift A, Mesh, and add a UV sphere. And then I'm going to go over to the Modify properties, add a modifier, and add a subdivision surface. And then I'm just going to right click and shade smooth. So now we've got our basic planet. I'm going to press this button over here to go into camera view. And then I'm just going to drag the timeline up and switch this over to viewport shading. And I'm going to change this to the shader editor. Okay, so with the sphere selected, I'm just going to hit F2 and rename this planet, just like that. So now it's called planet, and then we're going to make a new material, and we're going to call this planet as well. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a Musgrave texture and a color ramp. I'm going to change FBM to rigid multifractal and plug the height into the factor of the color ramp. And I'm going to plug the color ramp's color into the base color of the principled BSDF. We're going to change the detail on the Musgrave all the way up, and we're going to make the dimension 0.25, and I'm just going to turn the gain up to 50. So now we've got this cracked sort of material. Now we're starting to get a little bit of what we want, but it's not exactly what we want yet. So I'm going to press Shift A and add a mapping node and a texture coordinate. I'm going to plug the generated from the texture coordinate into the vector of the mapping, and then plug the mapping into the vector of the Musgrave. So now I'm just going to add a mix color and put that in between here. And then I'm going to select the Musgrave, press Shift D, move it over here, and plug it into socket B. Then I'm going to add a mapping, and I can just get another texture coordinate and plug it in just like this. So now we've got this sort of planet material. I'll just make this look a bit nicer. And now we need to add some bump. So I'm going to press Shift A and add a bump node and put this down here. I'm going to plug the color of the color ramp into the height of the bump, and the bump into the normal of the principled BSDF. And I'm going to make the strength 0.5. And that looks really good. And I'm also going to change the roughness of the principled BSDF all the way up. And now we need to add some colors. So I'm going to bring this white one over to just about here. And I'm going to make this blue color like this. And I'm going to make a new one, and I'll slide this over next to our other one. And then I'm going to make this a hazy purple sort of color, so right about that. And then I'm going to make another one, and this one will be blue again. So now we've got our purple planet. So now we've got the purple planet, we need to add some stars. So I'm going to go over to Object and change this to World. And I'm going to change the strength of the world to 20. You can't see anything happening because we're still in viewport rendering. So we need to go up and change this to render view. Now you can see that the background is fully white, but we need to add some stars. So I'm going to press Shift A, add in a noise texture, and a color ramp. I'm going to plug the factor of the noise into the color ramp's factor, and I'm just going to plug the color ramp into the background color. And then I'm going to crunch this black all the way down till it's just about here. And you can see we have a few dots, but we need to change the scale of noise to a really high number. I'm going to make this 450. Now you can see we have a lot of those dots. I'm going to go up here and turn overlays off. So now we can see this more clearly. I'm going to move these over here a little bit and add in a mix color like this. And then I'm going to select both the noise and the color ramp and press Shift D to duplicate this. Then I'm going to plug the color of the color ramp into socket B of the mix. Then I'm going to change this white color to a orange, just like that. And we can make the scale just a tiny bit different, like that. And I'll move this in a tiny bit more. So now if you zoom in, you'll see that we have some orange stars about here, But now I want to add a blue star as well. So I'm going to duplicate this mix one time, and then I'm going to duplicate it another time. I'm just going to move these two over here. I'm going to plug this into here and that into socket B. Then I'm going to select both of these and Shift D and duplicate them again. I'm going to plug the color of the color ramp into socket A of the mix. And I'm going to plug the second color ramp into socket B. Now I'm going to make this orange color a blue color instead. And you can change the scale a little bit on both of these. Okay, so that gives us a little bit of variety. So you can see we have a blue one here and an orange one here. So you can make this, turn this up a little bit, and you can just play around with this till you get something you like. Okay, I think that is looking really nice. I'm just going to bring this back down and change it back to the timeline. I'm going to select our light, go to the light settings, and I'm going to make this 5000. Then we can just press N, go to view, camera to view. So now when you move around, you're moving the camera as well. So now we can just find a shot that we like. I think this looks really nice. So I'm just going to do this. And then we can uncheck this. And now if we move again, we'll move out the camera. So now we need to change a few render settings, and then we can render this image. So I'm going to go over to the camera icon and go down to color management and change the look to very high contrast. And then I'm going to enable bloom, ambient occlusion, and screen space reflections. Now all you have to do to render this is go up to render and render image. This is rendered, and now you have an epic space scene made entirely with Blender. And the cool thing about this is that it's super easy to customize. So if we go back to shading and zoom in, you can see these colors on the color ramp. We can easily change this to get a different result. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe if you haven't already for more content like this. I hope you learned something, and I will see you in the next one.